Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the second episode of our Tarkov tutorial series. Today I've got some interesting plans for us, and hopefully it'll be fun for you guys as well to watch, even if you're not looking to learn loads about Tarkov right now. I thought the first thing we'd do is go into our hideout. I'll show you the hideout on the standard account that we looked at last time, so that you guys can see how that looks when you're just starting out. I'll also log over into my Edge of Darkness account, which has a completed hideout, to show you some of the things there and to show you what you're working towards, and really just show why it's worth leveling up your hideout and working on that as you're progressing through the game in Tarkov. From there, I thought we'd go into a raid. We'll probably start with an offline raid just to give you guys, so I can show you guys around the map, give you guys an idea of what the maps look like, and if I can in some way work in showing you the map that I would have on a second monitor as well at some stage, I'll do that, because I absolutely recommend that when you guys are learning these raids and the maps, you have a second monitor or a tablet or even your phone next to you with a map on it. You will need it. So we'll do that. We'll see where we go from there. Then we might have some more time to do something else. But that's my priority for today. Show you guys the hideout, show you an offline raid. It won't be an online raid yet, that will come, just to show you guys the best way to learn and give you an idea of what one of the maps looks like. I think we'll look at customs. It's a good one to start with, and we'll go from there. So I will see you guys in the game in just a few moments. Okay, so exactly as we did last time, we've logged into the game. We're in. We can do whatever we want now. We can go into a raid. We can look at our character again. Just refresh your guys' memory and my own memory as well, because it's been a little while since I've done one of these videos. This was our character. We got him ready to go into raid. Let me just take a couple of things out of there, because that was just for a demonstration that we did last time. Let me just do that. And this is our loadout, pretty much ready to go into a raid, but we're not going to do that just yet. The first thing we're going to do is have a look at the hideout. Now, as everything in Tarkov, there's several ways to get to your hideout. You might see just down here, yeah, I'm not in the way. You can see there it says hideout, so I could click directly from here to go into the hideout. The other way to do it is go into the main menu, and you'll see here, there's your hideout. Now, the first time you click on the hideout, you will get a message, just a brief message, doesn't really give you any information. I clicked on it once, unfortunately, already, so that message is gone. It basically says, this is your hideout. And I think it gives you some spiel about some crafting and things like that you can do. So, as you can see, on first glance, it's quite confusing. You can enter the hideout, but we won't worry about that at the moment, because you really don't need to do that. There's only one real reason you'd ever need to enter the hideout, and we don't need to do that right now. But we'll cover that a bit further on. At the moment, you can see all these here, these structures are red, so that means that when there's a padlock by them, we can't build them yet. Okay, we need items to build them. Now, we do have one here that's green, the vents, so I'll show you that in just a moment. So first of all, let me show you security here. As you can see, it says we can't build it. We've got the padlock, it's red, it says it's locked. We need 20,000 rubles, which is the in-game currency. We'll get that through raids and what have you. We've already got that if we wanted to build it. For that part, we're good. We need something else here. Now, it's an unknown item, so to discover it, you just click your middle mouse button. Click your mouse wheel. Sorry, I call it middle mouse button. It's your mouse wheel, and it tells us that we need a construction measuring tape to be able to build this part of our hideout. Those you find very frequently in raid. You could be on a scav, you could be on your player. As long as you make it out with one of those on you, then you will be able to build this security as well. So we can actually build the vents already. We already have what we need to build the vents. Now, one thing I will say is a lot of the different parts of the hideout are gated by other parts. So again, I'll just go back to security here. It doesn't show that we actually get anything from building security. So initially you might think, well, why would I want to waste 20,000 rubles? And when I get the tank, why would I even want to try and bother building this? Well, the security doesn't actually directly give you anything, but it is a requirement for other things in the hideout. You'll just have to trust me that as you progress, as you build some of these structures, these parts of the hideout, the next stage will say requires security level 1 or security level 2 or vents level 2 or vents level 1. So it's worth building those as soon as, really, for the very low levels, and then you can kind of work out. You'll look at a structure and it'll say requires, say, security level 2, and you'll think, okay, I need to build that, and then you'll click on security level 2, and security level 2 might say requires vents level 2 first, so then you'll have to build that first, and you kind of trace back the requirements of what each part of the hideout needs. So vents, we can build them. It just needs 25,000 rubles, which we've got. So we'll hit construct. It says here time is instant, and we've got vents level 1 built. So here we could build it to level 2. We will need items for that, so we'll have a look at what that requires now, because what you want to be doing is checking what you need in the hideout. You saw I just clicked on every different thing that I can't build right now, but that I want to build, and they all had items that you needed. You want to be looking out for those whilst you're in raid, whilst you're scavving, because when you get them out, that's going to allow you to build different parts of your hideout. So you can see all of these parts we need to discover. We've got none of them at the moment. So these are metal parts. These are CPU fans. I can click on these, but I've played this game so much I know exactly what they all are. The car battery and the electric motor. So we need to find all of those. You don't have to find them with the in-raid status to build your hideout. So what that means is if you say find some metal parts whilst you're in a raid, put them in your alpha or gamma container, depending on what version of the game that you've got. So for example here, if I found metal parts in a raid and I go, oh, hold on a minute, I need that for my hideout, I would probably take out something like the S-March here, the heavy bleed kit, and I would put the metal parts in my alpha container. And that will mean that when I die, none of those parts will count as found in raid, but it doesn't matter. For the hideout, they don't have to be found in raid. So I can just come out and I can say, well, that's still a win. I've got the metal parts that I need to build my what we're looking at, vents in the hideout. So that would be my recommendation. We built the vents. We'll have a look at everything else that we need to build. You can see here we need toilet paper, toothpaste, soap to build the lavatory. And again, you might think, well, why do I need to build a lavatory? I'll show you in a moment my hideout on my Edge of Darkness account. You can craft things in your hideout. You can craft ammunition, tactical rigs, armor. At the very low levels, you're not going to be crafting anything that makes you loads of money, but you can craft some things that will help you complete tasks, because anything you craft in your hideout will have found in raid status. So it's as if you went into a raid, picked something up that spawned in the raid, and got out with it. Only you didn't. You crafted it at your hideout, which doesn't carry any risk. You just have to get the materials to do the craft. So this is why you want to be leveling your hideout ultimately, because it will help you progress in the game, and or it will help you in the combat in the game. If you're crafting good ammunition, it's likely going to be better than you can buy at traders. Certainly in the early stages of the game, the ammunition you can craft is usually better than what you can buy from traders. So I'd absolutely say push your hideout. If I go into my character screen here, and I've got 400,000 rubles, right now those rubles are doing nothing. And in my view, there's some people who love to have a massive stash of rubles, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And certainly when you're in the end game of Tarkov, or end game, when you're late in the wipe and you've built everything you hide out, no problem having a big stash of rubles. The way I play the game, you might want to play it differently. That's fine. The way I play the game, the way I look at it is, I like to have a cushion so that I know that if I die a few times, maybe if I die 3 or 4 times, I've got enough rubles as a backup. But I don't want to be sitting on like 2 million rubles when I could be doing hideout upgrades with those rubles, provided I've got the other materials that I need. So I would say push your hideout. When you have the items to build something in your hideout, build it. Okay. So we've looked at what we need for the workbench there. We need bolts and nuts. Again, you'll find those in raid. The illumination, we've got the rubles. We just need a cricket lighter. You can find those in raid. They're a bit harder to find now than they were previous wipes, but they're there. They're not incredibly difficult. You will come across them. Piles of meds are easy to find. We've already got 2 bandages. Now, we haven't even been to a raid. These are given to us when we start the game. So that's why it's saying we've already got those. And remember, doesn't need to be found in raid. These bandages won't be because they were given to us when we started the game, but we can use them on our hideout. Excuse me, the pile of meds, we'll find loads of those in raids. The syringes, a bit harder to find, but you will come across them. You will come across them. For the rest space, what do we need? We need a pack of these matches, and we need some white duct tape. Just something you will have to learn in Tarkov, like what you need for your hideout. You just have to make a note or remember what you need when you're in a raid, because you can't check this while you're in a raid. So you just have to remember what it is you need, and remember, oh, I need that for my hideout, so I'll pick that up. Confusingly in Tarkov, there's some items that the name is very similar. There is another tape that you can get, but it's blue. But I think it's not called duct tape. It's got a different name, but it's like a blue tape. And if you're new to the game, you might think, oh, there's some tape there, I need that, and you'll bring it out, and then you get out and you realize, oh, it's actually the white tape that I need. That's just a learning point. You'll get to the stage where you know the difference, and you know that there are different types of tape. There's also different types of matches. There's hunting matches and these classic matches, and so if you're in raid and you see, oh, matches, I need them, you might get out and find that they're hunting matches. The symbols are different, but it's just learning that those symbols look different, and there's a difference between hunting matches and classic matches. But you'll all get there, trust me. It just takes a bit of time. So we need 3 of these classic matches, because we need 2 for our heating, and we need 1 for our rest space as well. As we progress, and you can see, although they're not showing here in the main body of our hideout, they are down the bottom here. There's a lot more that we can build at the hideout. For example, the intelligence center, you can craft really useful stuff there. This would have been a good example to show you earlier. I'll show you guys now. You see here it says we need level 2 security and level 2 vents. And when you craft the intelligence center, you get some really cool stuff. You get a reduced scav cooldown timer. You get an increase in your quest money rewards. So it's absolutely worth doing the hideout for, you know, just these reasons. There's some argument around some of the later hideout advancements. There's some argument around whether it's actually worth it or not to do some of the later advancements, and that's fine. You'll have to make your own decision on that. I'll show you my Edge of Darkness account shortly. We'll cut to that so that you guys can see what that looks like. You'll see that there's lots of ways to make money with the further advanced hideout, but there's certain things like the solar power here, which reduces your fuel consumption. This is very expensive to build, very expensive. You're talking many millions of rubles, the cost of all these parts, and this is euros here, not rubles. It's a different currency. You buy it with rubles. Last time I checked, I think that's about like 12 million's worth of rubles or something in that vicinity to get 75,000. And that's just the euros. Then you've got to get these items as well. You know, they're very expensive to build, and it just gives you half the fuel consumption that you would have otherwise in your hideout. Because one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which I must do, you need fuel to power your hideout. You'll see at the moment it's very dark. It's pitch black. It says here generator not constructed when we mouse over this power button here. So that's something that we will get as we start to progress. The generator will become available to us. We'll have a look down here, down the bottom. Here it is, the generator. If I click on it, it will tell us we need security level 1. So that's all we've got to do. We've just got to get security level 1. We need that tape measure, and then we can build the generator. The generator gives us power, which then means that we can start crafting things once we've unlocked things that allow us to craft. So this is all part of building your hideout. I think that covers most of the basics of the hideout. What I'll do now is I'll quickly cut to my EOD hideout. I'll show you guys some of the things in there so that you know what you're working towards. And we'll have a little chat whilst I'm showing you that as well. Okay, everyone. So this is my Edge of Darkness account. This is my main account. I'll show you here. My character level is 41 at the moment, not far off 42. So I've got my hideout fully completed. If I just go down here, I'll show you the sorts of things that you can do. Your fully built hideout. So you'll see I've got a lot more stuff, right? It looks very different to the one on the standard account. Although I've still got like the basic stuff that we had, the med station here. You can see they've got level 3 med station. Level 3 is pretty much the maximum of anything that you can build in the hideout, apart from your stash, which goes up to level 4. And you can see here I've got lots of cogs next to things, which means that they're processing something, it's building something. Here I've got my scav case, which is giving me random loot in exchange for a moonshine, which is something that you can buy off the flea market for 282,000 rubles, or you can craft it at your booze generator using a super water and 2 sugars, and you can buy those off the fleet, or your water collector. When you put in a water filter, one of these blue items here, which you can find in raid, or again you can buy off the flea market, it will create super water, and you can craft sugar using your nutrition unit level 3 from 2 chocolate bars. Now, buying those on the flea, it's not usually economical to actually do that, but just to give you guys some idea of how the hideout can work later in the game, you can do a lot of craft things to create more things, which creates more money. That's maybe not a good example because actually the cost of crafting all those things would probably not give you a massive profit margin ultimately on the moonshine, but you can use the moonshine with your scav case. I've got my fuel generator here. Now, when you first create your generator, not your fuel generator, your generator, and put fuel in it, you'll probably only have 2 slots, I think it is. As you upgrade it to level 3, you then get an extra 2 slots, and I think you can even add some extra slots through upgrading your skills, but we'll talk about that in another episode. And here we've got a Bitcoin farm. Mine's at level 3. You put graphics cards in this. Graphics cards are very expensive to buy off the flea market. We'll talk about the flea market in another episode. But you can see here they're like 500,000 rubles. Or you can find them in raid, or you can craft them from your intelligence center, which I'll show you in a moment. And the bitcoins, you just sell them to therapists. I haven't got one I can show you at the moment. I collected them just before I started this recording, actually. But they sell for usually around sort of the 250, 300,000 ruble mark per coin. And the higher level your Bitcoin farm, the more GPUs you can put in there, the quicker you'll create bitcoins. And you can see there you can hold up to 3. Again, I think you can increase that by 1 more. If you upgrade your skills through actually doing things in the game. You can't pay to upgrade that. It's just by doing things in the game. Again, we'll talk about that another time. Intelligence Center. This is where you can do a lot of crafting as well. I mentioned earlier you could craft GPUs. Here they are. I can't show you exactly what the craft costs right now because I'm crafting something else at the moment. I'm crafting intelligence here, which is another useful craft. You can either sell that for money or use that at your scav case, which was the one I showed you earlier with the moonshine. So as you can see, there is loads of stuff you can craft. I don't have anything crafting at my workbench at the moment, but here you can craft loads of ammunitions, like good ammunition. This SMB ammunition is really good ammo in that caliber, good for killing players, which you have to do. It's mainly used in sniper rifles and DMRs. You can craft loads of stuff here, as you can see. Things for quests as well. You need capacitors for quests later in the game. You'll need batteries for quests, or this is a very expensive craft, wouldn't recommend that one. But there's loads of stuff here that you can craft, which is all very useful at various stages in the game. These OFC shells, you need 5 of those for a quest. You can see they can craft 2. Expensive craft, but if you're struggling to find them in a raid or on a scav, then it's a good place to go. So yeah, that's what a high level hideout looks like, guys. It's very much worth doing it. You get a lot of good perks from it. Seeing the library here, I'm getting extra raid experience from having that built. Absolutely worth it in my view. Worth prioritizing, worth spending your money on. Okay, I hope you guys found that useful. As you can see, there's lots that you can use the hideout for in terms of making money, just being self-sufficient in the game, and certainly in the early game as well, as I mentioned earlier, and in that clip. There's lots that you can craft which will be better than things that you can buy from traders, certainly at the start of the game at the lower levels. So now that we've done that, what I thought we'd do is we'll go into a raid, because you guys have watched probably, I don't know, best part of an hour of me talking if you've watched the first episode as well, and we haven't actually been into a raid yet. So I definitely want to show you a raid. Now, if you remember, we geared up our character. We'll talk scavs probably another day. I don't think we'll have time in this video, so we'll talk scavs another day, next episode, because scavving is important in my view. Not everyone shares that view. I think it's important, especially when you're a new player. Helps you learn the game and helps you progress as well. So we'll go in on our play, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an offline raid first. I toyed with the idea of showing you a live online raid, but my thought process was, my recommendation is that you try some offline raids first, just to familiarize yourself with the map, the scav AI. So I thought it would help if I show you what that looks like, and then you know what to expect when you're in an offline raid. So what an offline raid is, it does what it says on the tin. There will be no other players in there. Let me show you. So here, it would help if I actually show you what I'm doing on this screen as well. So I've gone to PMC. We're not going on Scav, we're going on PMC. So the PMC is highlighted here. So we hit next. This is where you choose your map. Now you'll see some of the maps aren't available at the moment. Lighthouse is the most recent map that they've added. At the moment, we've got the lab, which you can't get into without a particular item for access. So don't worry too much about that. We've got interchange, we've got woods, we've got customs, which is the one I'm going to show you today. We've got factory, we've got reserve, we've got lighthouse, and we've got shoreline. So plenty of maps there. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that you can just access from day one. Plus the lab makes 8 right now. They are working on Streets of Tarkov. That I believe is due to be the next map, but obviously that could change. But there's other maps here that are clearly planned, but we don't really know anything about terminal, town, suburbs. We don't know anything about those really at the moment. So we're going to click on customs. The reason I'm showing you customs is, you might remember last episode, if I go back to our character screen just quickly here and click on the tasks, you'll recall in debut, customs, we need to eliminate 5 scavs there. So we'll go to customs. Now, we're going to choose our time here. We're going to go for 9 a.m. because if we go at basically 10 p.m, it will be actually dark. Like, you will not be able to see anything. So we're going to go daytime. You can get night vision, by the way, further down the line, and then you can play nighttime raids with more ease, or you can use flashlights, things like that, but another time for that. We're going to enable offline mode. If I wanted to go live, I'd just hit next past this screen. This is the insurance screen. I think I showed you guys last time because we insured. And you're in the lobby here. You can just hit ready and you'll be going into a live raid, okay? But we are going to enable offline mode. So just going back to the screen before, you choose your map, you hit next. Once you make sure you're on the right time of day, enable offline mode. Now, don't worry too much about the weather conditions and random time. Don't worry about that. We want to know the time. If you want to just explore the map and find out where extracts are and things like that, just click enable offline mode and click ready and you'll go straight in. What I'm going to do is enable PvE, which means that scavs will spawn in. They are AI scavs, okay? I'm going to keep the difficulty as in online because I think that's a good way for you to learn the scav AI, and you will see how challenging the scav AI can be in this game. It can be very punishing. We won't enable bosses for now, but if you want to practice killing scav bosses, which do exist in the game, they're just really, really hard to kill bosses for them. Well, most of them are really hard to kill. And they have guards as well. They can easily one-shot you. Even if you're a good player, you can just get bad luck and just get one shot. We won't enable bosses for now, but that is a good way to practice killing bosses. Don't choose Scav War and Tagged and Cursed because it's nothing like the online experience. That's probably if you just want to go on and have some fun. This just means like Scavs will chase you all down across the map, and this means the Scavs will be fighting. So we keep everything as in online. I would recommend that because it gives you an authentic experience, save for we're not going to have any actual players in this. And then I'm just going to hit ready. One thing I will quickly add while we're deploying in, although I will cut to the raid once I've finished mentioning this one thing, you will not gain any experience from this raid. You won't be able to complete any tasks in this raid. It will not count. It is offline mode. That is how Tarkov works. This is just a practice. It might show you tasks complete, but when you get out of the raid, they won't be completed. Any items you pick up, any items you use, any items you lose, will not matter. It will not count. So you can do whatever you like in this. It's absolutely fine. Okay, we'll be in momentarily. It's raining at the moment, unfortunately, so it might be a little bit loud, but hopefully you guys can manage that okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm pressing tab there to bring up my inventory, okay? And then I'm going to click on gear so that I'm on this already. Now what I should have done before we started, you can do this when you're in your inventory outside of the raid. If you mouse over an item and press a button on your keyboard, so if I press number 4, that is now bound to number 4, and you see it appears down here as well at the bottom of the screen. Now that means that when I press number 4 in the raid, I will heal myself using the car first aid kit. Okay, I'm going to put my painkillers on number 5, my bandage on number 6, my splint on number 7. Okay, we accidentally took our heavy bleed kit out, but we'll worry about that later. We're only in offline mode. So I'm going to check the mag with my gun. Now I have that bound to a thumb button on my mouse, just so that's easier. I can't recall what the default control is, but you can check that. You can still check your settings. If you press escape and go into your settings, you can check all your settings here. So if you get into a raid and a practice raid and you want to confirm all that, you can still do that. I'm going to check the fire mode by pressing my other thumb button. Single fire. Again, I've rebound that. Right click to ADS as you'd expect. I'm not going to explain too much like that to you guys. If you've played shooters before, you know how this works. So sorry if you can hear my kitty in the background. She's been outside and she's very meowy today. Hopefully it's not too loud through the mic. So what I'm going to do here now, I've had a little look around. I've satisfied myself no one's around me close yet. No scavs lurking. I'm going to press O, or double tap O is the default, and it will show me my extracts in the top right. Now, what you need to have next to you on your monitor, another monitor or a phone or a tablet, you need a map. A good place to start for the map is the Escape from Tarkov Wiki, which I'll link down in the description. I linked it in the description of my last video as well. You need a map because you will have no clue. As you can see, there's nothing indicating this is the direction you have to go to get to these extracts that you've got. There's also certain extracts that may or may not be available. I can't keep this up, so forgive me, I'll have to keep pressing the button. You see there we've got Dorms VX with question marks. That's a vehicle extract that you have to pay money to get out of. If you don't have money, you can't get out of that one. It's a question mark because it's not always there. If it was there but it's gone, it'll appear as red. If it's been activated, it will appear as green, but that means that it's on a 60-second countdown timer before it leaves. So that's how that particular extract works with the question marks. The smuggler's boat, the bottom one with the question marks, that's similar. You don't need money, but that's just sometimes available. The Ruaf roadblock one, I believe because it's showing there means it's actually open. But I'm not 100% sure on that because it used to be the case that it was only sometimes open. That's Exfil 5 that we've got the roadblock. So you will need a map. So the first thing you're going to have to do is pinpoint where you are on your map. You'll need to be looking at your map on your other monitor or on your tablet. I'm pointing to my tablet down in front of me. And you'll need to work out where you are. You need to go outside, look for landmarks. You know, things like power lines like this will often be marked on the map. You've got some big silos here. You'll probably see that. If I can, I'll get a copy of a map up and show you where we've spawned. We are on it depends which way your map is orientated, but the map I use, this would be on like the eastern side or the right hand side of the map that I use, that being north up that way, that being east, that being south, that being west. That's a scav that just shouted at us, so we're gonna have to deal with that scav if we can here. So I just jump over this pipe and we're going to look. There he is, and we're going to kill him. And we're going to kill him. Oh, yeah, we killed him. Okay, so he's dead. So that was an AI scav because we've got those turned on. Okay, we did well not to die there. Did he actually attack us? He didn't. I pressed 4 and didn't heal. So you see, headshot, he's dead easy. There might be more scavs out here as we go out, so we listen, see if they shout at us. No. So I'm going to loot this guy now. I'll show you looting. So when you loot, there's a few ways you can think about this. You see how I'm always moving as well, guys? Always do this in Tarkov. Never stand still like this, because if it's a player looking at you, bearing in mind I've just shot a bullet, if there's a player looking at me right now, easy kill. At least if I'm moving, I'm a bit harder to kill. And you want to be thinking about that. You want to be thinking, where can a player be looking at me from? That's going to be hard when you don't know the maps. When you get to know the maps, I would be thinking here now, there could be a player down there, possibly, or across here, possibly, but it's quite misty. There could be one up in those hills, just there. Those are the most likely spots. If I was unlucky, there could have been a player there, but those are the most likely spots where I could expect to see a player. So you'd have a little look, and then you can either, depending on how safe you feel, you could prone. My key is Z, I think it's control by default. You can prone and then press F to search the body. And these are the items that he's got. So I'm pressing middle mouse on these to discover them, because we haven't discovered these items already. You recall in the last video I said the more that you can discover at your traders early on, the better. Because look, I've just had to do that in raid. How long did that take me? An extra 3 seconds? That could be the difference between a player appearing and seeing me and taking a shot at me and not. So I've moved those over into my inventory. This is an offline raid. I'm not going to keep them. This is just for demonstration purposes. I put the gun into my second slot there because it was empty. So I've now got that gun on me, and I've put the armor into my backpack because I'm already wearing armor. Now, what I could do here, if I wanted to, I could right-click and discard, or use my shortcut key, which for me is X, to get rid of that armor on the floor. It's insured, so as long as no one else picks the armor up, it will come back to you in your post. And I could put on this armor, because this armor is class 3, and I can tell you the Packer is only class 2. Probably getting a little bit too deep at this stage, but just things to think about, which we can talk about more later. So I'm clicking this box here to search. You have to search everything in Tarkov. This is a magazine for this gun, so I'm going to drag that over. You can see I don't know how much ammo's in there. If I middle mouse click on it, after a little while, it'll tell me it's full, 30 rounds of ammo. I'm clicking search again, nothing in his pockets. I don't want to take his vest, beanie, knife. If you were min-maxing, you might take those because they're worth money. Empty space is obviously worth nothing when I get out, whereas those are worth actual money. Again, we're in offline mode, so it's not going to matter anyway this time, but just for demonstration, real life raid. Now, if I think that the gun that I just picked up off this guy is better than what I'm using, you can see along the top it's in slot 3. I'll just press 3, get the gun out. Oh, I thought it was going to cock, but it didn't. And now I've got this AK. I'm checking the ammo. You see in the bottom right there, it appears 545x39 PS. I know that the ammo is not very good. Neither is the ammo in my M4, this M855 ammo. It will kill, but you really need to be hitting your headshots. And if you come up against scabs with any sort of armor, you are going to struggle. So, that was our first little engagement. We haven't even really moved from where we spawned, and the raid's about, what, 13 minutes old now? Maybe a little bit less, 8 minutes. I can't remember if it starts at 40 or 35 on the timer. So we need to start moving to an extract. All our extracts are over this side of the map, okay? If you're looking at your map, once you've pinpointed where you are, we're on what used to be known as like the boiler tank side. I don't know if it gets called that anymore. This is the checkpoint. This is the, it's usually called the USEC stash building. We need to move over the opposite side of the map to our extracts, okay? Again, this is something you will just have to learn. I'm pressing shift to sprint and then just holding W, space to jump, all the usual controls you'd expect from a first-person shooter. So, I would be taking this much slower if I was in an online raid, because there could be players anywhere, okay? So I would be taking this much, much slower. As it is right now, I know the only things that I'm going to run into are AI scavs, so I can be a little bit more lax. I will show you guys online raids, but again, the reason I want you in offline raids to start, and I wouldn't say do loads of them before you get some online experience, you know, maybe 2, 3, get a feel for the map and then get into an online raid. But you just want to be finding some scabs and learning where the extracts are. That's basically it. If you're confident, don't even do an offline raid. Go straight in. If you... So we can hear a scav here. I think it was in there. I just heard a mumble. And I'm pretty sure it was in here somewhere. Our frames are not doing too well at the moment. I definitely heard a scav talking. So there's all loot in here, look. So there's like an SKS stock here. I'm not sure what this building's called. It might be power building, because if you come into here, what you can do in this door just here is check. Heard that scav. They're outside at the gas station, actually, I think. There's a power button here. Turn it on. It opens up an extra extract, which I don't think we'll have this side. Oh, it does. No, ZB13, that top one. It opens up that extract for us. I just want to see if I can find this scav, guys, because ultimately, that's why you're in an offline raid. I thought he was over here somewhere. So you can jump up on these cars, okay? But then the question is, can we see the scav? He might see us before we see him. I'm sure he's in there. Oh well. We're not going to waste our time with that. We'll keep moving over to the extract. This is the power building. We're going to go out through the other side of this building, like straight through. There might be a scab in here, because I thought we heard one earlier, but we'll see. You can find loot underground here. I like looting underground here. I'll just quickly show you a nice little loot spot when you're in here. I don't think scabs spawn under here, so we should be good. Just under here, there's a bag right here that you can loot. Press F on that. You'll see here it's searching. Nothing in there. And there's a box here you can search as well. There's a little chain that I just saw on the floor there as well. You can see here, this might be a weapon. It is a weapon. AK-MSN. Cool. I'll take that as well. You can still keep the other weapon. Little tip, when you put stuff into your inventory, if it's like that, worth worth middle clicking your mouse, clicking your mouse wheel, because it might fold the stock and then you've just made 2 extra spaces there. Okay, if you're equipping it on your person, keep the stock folded out. Chainlets are worth nothing. I'm not going to take it, but you know, just to give you an idea of how loot can spawn, it can be loose on the ground. There's some med spawns here, so you can see, look, some bandages. That's a CMS kit. We spoke about that in episode 1, but I couldn't show you one. This will allow you to repair broken limbs. Now, what I would do here, if this was a real life in raid, I would take out that AI2 because you can easily buy them, put the CMS in there, because if you need to repair a limb, if a limb blacks out from getting shot, then you can use the CMS, so it's worth keeping. There's a 2-charge bandage there, so I don't know, maybe I'd get rid of this bandage and take the 2-charge one because more efficient space. You can check this med box here. Sometimes meds spawn on that chair there as well. So I just think it's a nice little loot spot down here. And obviously in a live raid, you'll be so much more careful than I'm probably being now, because there could be players up there. There could be a player sitting in here. Yeah, there could be lots of places. I was sure we heard a scav in here, by the way, but maybe it was someone behind us earlier on. Maybe. So I'm going to open this door, basically come straight through. We came in, there's double doors there, but we're the other side of the double doors. We've gone underground, we've come up, and now we're going to go through to the railway line here. Now you can go under it. I like to go over it usually. And you'd be checking all your angles and your corners. Something else to look out for on this map. People can jump over this wall here. It's a one-way trip. You can't go from this side unless maybe you could if you've got really high strength skill. Again, skills we'll have to talk about in another episode. This way, I think it's this level that we are, it's a one-way trip. You can only come over. Now, the scavs do spawn here, so we're going to have a look for scavs, okay? They do spawn here. That green smoke means that this extract is active if you have the extract. I don't see any scavs, but there could be one hiding somewhere. We don't have this extract because we spawn this side of the map. Basically, we're still on the side that we spawned on. We haven't even made it halfway across the map. Now, at the back of this van spawns some loot. You can see here. If this was a live raid, by the way, guys, this is a Saliwa. You see it's got the found in raid tick and it's yellow. That's telling you it's a quest item. That you need it for a quest, okay? It's a healing item, similar to car first aid kit, but with more charge to it. You've got 400. If this was a live raid, we'll be very excited now. We'll be thinking, okay, that's a good thing to get. Let's try and get out of this raid safely. You know, you're not going to be... When you're low level and you've got a quest item on you like that, my view, unless you're really, really capable when it comes to PvP and shooters, my view would be just focus on getting out. There's some loot here. There's they call this the giving tree. There can be loot under here at the moment. It's just a stock, so we're not excited about that. There's a med bag there that you can loot, and there's a stash right in the back corner here that you can loot, and pretty much anything can spawn in these. These are dotted around most of the maps in Tarkov. Pretty much anything can spawn in these. It's always worth checking. I think we need a Zippo lighter, if not now, soon for our stash, so we'll take that. I don't know what that is. Cigarettes. Yeah, we don't need them right now. There's a task later where you do need cigarettes, but not those ones with the blue dot on. So you have to run through this door here. This is a huge choke point. Could be a player camping the other side of this if this was a live raid. It's not. So we're just going to carry straight on. YOLO a little bit. You do not want to go too far that direction, because that direction, you see those that sign with the target on, there's a sniper scav up that way that you cannot kill, and they will 100% kill you if you go too far. Basically, don't go as an early player, I'd say don't go past this first sign here. You can go past that, but you're starting to get into risky territory. Another thing to note on customs as well, a sniper scav can spawn on these usually that taller tower there, and he'll just take pot shots at you from miles away. He's not there now. I don't know whether that's because we're offline or what, but yeah, just be wary of that. The scav boss for this map can spawn in here. We've got scav bosses off right now, so he won't have spawned in there, but he absolutely can in an online raid, so be aware of that. If there's lots of scavs in there, it's probably the boss, and don't look at him too long unless you're going to fight him from cover, because he'll kill you. So we're just still making our way across the other side of the map. Now, this is normally called Fortress. I call it like Rashala's Den sometimes, or Rashala's Fortress, because that's the scav boss. That's where he spawns. There's a sniper scav there. Do you see him on top of that building? So he's going to start shooting at us probably soon if we don't shoot at him. So we're going to try and kill him, which you may or may not be able to do. Nope, we got him. Nice. So he's dead now, so that's fine. So he won't shoot at us. Going to check my mag. Nearly full still, it says. So we're fine. We've only probably fired about 5 shots between that sniper scav and the first scav, so we're going to keep moving. Over there, that building just there, looking at with the blue graffiti on the side, I call that the vehicle inspection pit or inspection, something like that. So you're looking for a call out. This is called the drug den or the crack house. People have loads of names for it. There's usually good med spawns in here. There's some intelligence, which is something you need for your hideout later and is worth a lot on the flea market, which is something that's like an auction house. We'll talk about that in a later episode. So it's often worth checking in here. Oh, if I can open the door, good. So you can see loose meds can spawn here. There you go. So that's an anti-bleed kit there that we haven't discovered yet. So we've now discovered that. That'll stop heavy bleeds. There's a box here that you can loot as well. Loose meds can spawn on the floor as well, underneath kind of where we're standing. We need those for our hideout. Again, we're not in an online raid, but if we were, you'd be taking those. You need them for your hideout. Loose meds can spawn here as well. Saliwas and other healing items can spawn all there. Where we're going to go is... Oh, there's always a nice little spawn here. You see this scav? You can loot him. You have to kind of run into the gap and loot in that way. That is an it's a UV lamp. We don't need that. We do need screw nuts, and this ballbex we'll need later. You guys would not know this in your first raid, but trust me, you will need that later. So we'll pick that up. I thought I heard a scav footstep. I didn't. It was the sound of that scav's body closing because I'd opened it. So in this room here, you can get some really good spawns. Here you go. Folder intelligence. I'm not exactly sure what that's worth because I haven't played Tarkov that recently. They're usually worth about 300 to 400,000 depending on what the flea's like, rubles that is. So yeah, very good. Okay, so moving on. Meds can spawn all in here. Along these shells, there you go. That's a grizzly. That's a big healing item. Can't fit it in right now. We need to make some space. It's a 2x2, so it's just fitted in there now. That's a healing item. They can spawn all along here. Oh, apparently they can spawn on the floor. I did not know meds could spawn there. I'll be checking that in future. Yeah, stuff can spawn all on these tables here. Nothing this time though. On there and on this shelf here. They're the spawns that I know about. You can go into this room here. And there you go, pack of sugar. That's useful and worth quite a bit on the flea market. There you go, there's another CMS kit on these shelves here. So you just check these shelves. That's a golden star. That's a really good painkiller. So what I'll be doing at this stage now is I would get rid of this bandage and I would put that golden star in there as good loot. I probably wouldn't put the sugar in there actually. I think all these are probably best at this stage of the game to be in there. So keep moving towards our extract, which is still over that direction. Kind of the earliest extract you can probably get to from our spawn, apart from in that fortress building that I showed you over there. One of the earliest extracts we can get to is just the other side of this wall called the Ruaf roadblock. I'll show you what that's like now. This is a hot spot for scavs. Might be some scavs here as we go through. Yep, there you go. That was a scav that spoke, so we know he's here. Be an AI scav, but there we go. Killed him. There's another scav. There's a chance we die here to these scavs, by the way. The extract is right here. Right where I was looking at it. There he is. You see how scavs seem to have ESP? You'll need to be ready for that. They don't know. They will not be looking at you, and the second your crosshair hits them, they know you're there. You just have to be ready for that. You just need to hit your headshots or shoot them so fast that they lose all their health and die. So this is an extract right here. You see, I'm extracting 6, 5, 4. We're not going to do that just yet. I just want to show you a couple more things on this map. That is that warehouse there that you can see the distance is Big Red. That's all in the play zone, okay? It's called Big Red. You can spawn over there. There's like warehouses next to it as well over there. You can spawn over that side of the map. And if you spawn over that side, all your extracts will be, guess where? Where we just spawned. So it completely flips the map on its head. And this is where PvP comes in Tarkov, another scav. Now, it's said that debut's completed there in the bottom right. It is not. That is because we're in an offline raid. It thinks it's completed because if we're in an online now, there's another scav standing right there. What the hell? That's weird. Why did he not aggro to us? If we're in online raid night right now, we'd have completed debut. Okay. I'm going to tell you something silly that I did in just a moment as well. Let me get back to what I was saying. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's not good. Let's break line of sight. He hit me in the head. That's dangerous. We might die here, guys, because my head is low. What I should do is heal my head. But instead, I'm being a potato and challenging this scav like an idiot. I killed him. It's fine. I think they're spawning in around us. Right. So let's get out of here because I don't want to die to a scav if I can avoid it. If we do, that's fine. You guys can still learn this map yourself, but I just thought I'd show you a couple more things while we're here. I'm also conscious of the video time as well. So, yeah, big regging spawn there. Through this way, you know, that bridge is all crossable from Big Red. This is construction just here. If you hear people talking about construction, all playable area. There's like a little tower that you can get up in there. I'm just going to give you a general look over here. A lot of scavs can spawn here, so we might get shot at if there's a scav around. That's all playable area over there. The campfire extract is through those trees, just there down by the river. It's exactly what it says. It's a campfire at the edge of the river. Over there, which you can't see, is an area called the dorms through those trees. That is a high PvP area. It's very tight corners, angles that you've got to be checking all the time. It's a place you will have a lot of quests to do in there, including killing players in there at one point. But it's heavily contested. There's good loot in there as well. That's why it's heavily contested. And players like going there to PvP. That's a scav. Fuck it, aim. That'd be great. There we go. He's dead. Okay. Now, I've made a bit of a mistake. You see my mag is almost empty. I reloaded, and because I picked up that sugar, I didn't have space to put a mag. Do you remember I told you guys before? So I dropped the mag. So I now don't have any ammo to reload. So we need to get out of here if this is a real raid, and we're going to get out of here because we've still got scabs to deal with. I've just switched to my other gun now. So to give you some reference, there's those two towers where I said a sniper scav can spawn. If you kind of carried on where I'm looking now in a straight line, you can't do that. But just to give you guys a frame of reference, that's kind of where we spawned, but a long way away. Probably the distance we are to those two towers, again, is where we spawned, like past the two towers. So that's just to give you guys a frame of reference. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to show you the Big Red side because it's going to make this video way too long. Again, you guys can check the map. You guys can explore in offline mode. But you've got your frame of reference. I thought I heard another scav there or something, but hopefully not. What we're going to do is we're going to extract, and you'll see we won't keep any loot. We won't have any tasks completed because this was an offline raid. But you've had an experience. You've shot a few scavs. You've learned how the AI kind of behaves. You saw how I had to heal after that scav hit me in the head. Now, you can get killed, by the way. Keep moving when you're in your extraction point. Keep moving, because if you stand still for even a second, someone might be watching you and blip you in the head. So it says we got XP. It says we survived. Yes, we survived. We don't get any of that XP because it was an offline raid. So I'm going to hit next. It gives you a summary here of everything you killed. You can see whether it was a headshot, where you killed them, the range you killed them at. You see we killed the sniper scav here at the start. He was 122 meters away. I wasn't at the start, and this tells you all your stats from your raid, how much damage you did, how many hits you landed, how much. It does tell you how many shots you took as well. It doesn't actually. Sorry, it doesn't tell you how many shots you took. It normally shows you your. It normally shows you your accuracy or your shots fired. I don't know why it's not showing me that. Might be because it's an offline raid. Anyway, you can look at those stats to your heart content. Now, it says I've leveled up. I haven't because it's an offline raid. So you have to ignore all of that. But if that had been an online raid, you can see how lucrative that would be from extracting. Extracting is so huge in Tarkov. I can assure you that if I died there, imagine it was an online raid. If I died there, I would have got, we're probably talking a few hundred XP, or certainly under 1,000, compared to what I did get in the end, which was what, over 3,000? Was it over 4? It was certainly over 3. Extracting is huge. That should be your main goal in Tarkov when you're starting out. As you get further through the game, you get more confident. You might go into a raid and be like, well, I need to do PvP. I've got a task to kill players. So that's then your goal, and whether you die or not somewhat doesn't matter. You might lose money if you die because you're losing gear. But if you're getting 2 player kills towards an objective of getting player kills and then you die, it's not the end of the world if you don't extract. But when you're low level and you're trying to level up, extractions are huge. Plus the loot that you get can be used to upgrade your hideout often as well. So that's absolutely huge, and that's what you need to do. So that was a raid, guys. That was a It was an offline raid, but that is what I would recommend you do. Maybe 2 or 3 of those. Have a map up on the side. Get to know the map. Certainly get to know customs first. It's usually between customs and woods. I think customs is easier to get to know, but there's a lot more PvP opportunity on there. So you might come across geared players who will just steamroll you, and you just kind of have to take the rough with the smooth on that. But it is a good map to learn on. Okay, guys, I hope you found all that very useful and helpful, and I hope it was a bit of fun as well. You should hopefully have a better idea now about how your hideout works and how useful that is to also build up your hideout as you progress through the game. We also had a good look at customs as well, so you have some idea of the layout of that map. Definitely study the maps yourselves for any map that you are going to play. Definitely look online. I would recommend the wiki as a good starting point, but there's lots of other good sources for maps out there. The wiki is just a good place to start. Study those, get into an offline raid, learn it, and then you can hit the online raid. Next episode, I think what we'll do is look in a bit more detail at the skills, because there's passive skills in Tarkov. And maybe we'll do an online raid, or we might do an offline raid on a different map. Maybe I'll show you woods, because that is another early one that you will need while you're playing. You get some early quests on woods, so we'll consider doing those few things next time, I think. But in the meantime, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. We'll do it all again very soon. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel. I'll have part 3 going up very soon, as I say, hopefully in the next week or 2. And until then, guys, thank you all so much for all your support. Love you lot, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye for now.